Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the northeast corner of the map playing in red, we've got beastyqt playing as the ayyubids. And his opponent in the southwest playing in blue, we've got crackedyhere playing as the Rus. Welcome everyone to Gorge. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening of course, depending where you may be in the world, and we're going to be in for some exciting Age of Empires 4 action with a new look Rus. And of course, ayyubids have had some changes too. We're on the brand new patch for Age of Empires 4. Lots to talk about. Now the Rus, their bounty system has completely changed. They don't actually get bounty from killing deer packs anymore. No. In fact, it's actually when they gather food from huntable sources that they gather 1 gold every 10 food and 1 bounty every 10 food as well. So it's a significant change, and we see a bit of a different build order now for Crackedy and the Rus. A double hunting cabin opening. The question is, a lot of things are going to change, right? Especially when you think about 1 scout versus 2 scouts. The Rus possibly could just get away with 1 scout at the moment, and that actually affects things about the opponents as well. Actually, in a way, kind of invariably or inadvertently buffs all the other factions or civilizations. The reason being is that a second scout for the other factions is a bit of a costly one, right? Compared to the Rus can get scouts from the hunting cabins, so they don't actually idle their town center when getting extra scouts. But the other civilizations, of course, do have to rely on their town centers to make the second scout, so they're always a villager behind. Or at least they used to be. But now with the Rus probably going to be opening at 1 scouts most of the time, it means that your enemy doesn't have to invest in idle time in the town center from creating villagers. Certainly helps those who are going up against the Rus. Of course, though, things have also changed in terms of the deer camp coming in from professional scouts. So it's quite possible we'll see a lot more professional scouts from the Rus, depending on the map generation, of course. Speaking of which, this map generation is actually really good for Crackedyhere and the Rus. Double deer camp on one side. And it means it's going to be opening up with a Kremlin and most likely go to stone. I guess that's what the Kremlin is all about, really. To protect the stone mine to get a second town center on that west side position. Now, of course, things can change, right? Now, Age of Empires 4 is a very dynamic game. There's a lot of RNG. If the food wasn't all on this left side, maybe it wouldn't have been a second town center play here from the Rus. I wouldn't be surprised to see, sometimes even a 1 TC play from the Rus nowadays, because the Abbey of Trinity has been buffed as well. That landmark also increases reduces the cost of warrior monks by 50%, so probably increases the likelihood that you're going to be making them as the Rus. Now, the ayyubids have had a couple of changes too, primarily with the eco wing. They've obviously got 2 options. The economic wing industry now gives them more resources as they age up, but of course Beasty now going with the economic wing growth wing aspect of that, and that's going to be giving them extra villagers. Which would be nice for the ayyubids to start off in that feudal age. Now bear in mind, the Rus now having that altered bounty system, it's quite typical. I think we won't see wheelbarrow all that early. Because you typically, the thing about the Rus bounty system now is that the gold trickles in a lot slower. Hence the double hunting cabin, and it means also that there's not going to be able to afford wheelbarrow. Which is actually a very big knock on that economy. So it's actually relatively big nerfs here for the Rus. Not to mention, by the way, the Kremlin gremlins, the militia now have had a bit of a change of the way they live. Previously, they used to have a 65-second timer, and then they just die a painful death. Now, in fact, they actually die a bit more of even a painful death, because they lose 1 HP every second they live, until they reach 1 HP. So you can try and go across the map if you like, but it's always a bit difficult. Because, of course, by the time you get across the map, you'll be probably half health or something like that. And Beasty, just recognizing there's plenty of food on the side of the map, that he's just going to try and spread the deer out and cause a bit of mayhem. And whilst this is a good expansion point for the Rus potentially, it's also a very good area to target for Beasty. Though having said that, not opening with military wing means there's not going to be any sort of early desert raiders unless he makes them himself, which it looks like he might just do with the stable being built. With 4 villagers, really rushing that down. Going for plenty of villagers on gold as well, so possibly looking to get a fast castle behind this. Maybe a desert raider or 2, and then into the castle age. Maybe a horseman or 2, in fact. And then into the castle age. It's going to be tricky though, because of course the Rus have the Kremlin gremlins, the militia to rely on to defend him if he needs. He's got the stone he needs for a second town centre, just needs a bit more wood. Dragging the ball all sorts of places. Now, the slight change with professional scouts, by the way, is that it's kind of a lot more automatic. The scouts actually take the deer carcasses and they bring them back to the capital town centre automatically if you start, you know, tasking them to get the deer camp. It's actually a really nice boost because it limits the amount of APM you need. Previously, you used to have to shift-click the deer camps to the town centre, back to the deer camp, to the town centre, back to the deer camp. It was always a bit of a faff, but the horseman going to come out and might do some damage, although the Kremlin's in range, so the position of this, I mean, the good thing about the horseman is forced Crackedy to place the town centre a little bit more conservatively near the Kremlin, but I'm not sure that the horseman can get too much value out of this. Now, granted, he has killed a lot of the deer, so they're a bit more spread out than maybe Crackedy would have wanted, but still, good location to gather food for sure. Now, ayyubids possibly looking to get the castle age relatively soon and get the relics. And, yeah, I mean, he should be in a good spot to do that, actually. Now, bear in mind, one thing that kind of hurts the ayyubids a little bit with this fast castle play is the dervish cost has increased from 60 food and 120 gold to 60 food and 140 gold. So extra 20 gold per dervish. It's not the biggest deal in the world, I guess, but it still hurts a little bit in terms of timing. I can't imagine how it's too much, though. It's going to go to gold now, Crackedy, so probably looking to get castle age behind this. And it starts actually to get a couple of archers, in fact. Went for an archer range opening. Interesting to see that, actually. Considering, you know, Beasty went for horsemen. You don't typically expect to see archers, so Beasty's probably scratching his head a little bit, thinking, what's all that about? And I'm kind of scratching my head too. Kind of expected to see some spearmen, but I guess the Rus don't really want to be defensive, right? So, yeah, I was expecting to see maybe a staple or a barracks, but going to go for the archer range and play on the wood income for the Rus. It's not unheard of, to be fair. You know, the Rus did have this period of time where they actually made a lot of archers, considering they have a really good wood bonus. They've got the double broad axe upgrade already in. We'll lose the first villager here, but not only that, they do have the Kremlin boosting up the wood income by a very sizable amount. 20% more dropped off. It's a big, big boost for the wood for sure. Militia getting some value here. Horsemen don't necessarily need to take this engagement, but he is. Let's go for the villager now. And the villager should be okay. Yeah, loses the horseman here, Beasty in the end. Wolf chomping at the pit. Yeah, the villager should take care of the wolf in the end. But all things considered, behind all this, it's going to be that castle age. It's going to go up with the culture wing. So it's going to get 3 dervish. So we talked about the increased cost of dervish. Doesn't really matter because it's going to get 3 of them anyway. As he gets to the next stage, he's going to try and mop up the relics, get the early advantage in terms of gold injection. But obviously, he's going to scale well to late game if he gets them. Crackedy, though, he's aware and he's wise to the ruse. Looking to wall in the relics, make sure that he tries to deny as many of them as possible. I would like to say, by the way, a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Special shout out to the YouTube channel members and the Twitch subscribers going the extra mile to support me in my content creation journey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what? If you do have Amazon Prime, you actually get a free Twitch sub. It's worth thinking about spending it here if you've been enjoying the content. But yeah, Crackedy looking to really wall up now. He is not interested in losing too many villagers in the castle age, because he knows that he's going to be behind getting there. Not by much though, because of course don't forget, whilst the Rus can power build their buildings, you know, essentially get many villagers on their structures to build them up, the ayyubids can't. So he just had to wait it out and gets to the castle age now at a decent time, 9 minutes 15 seconds. Nothing to write home about, but the good thing for Beasty, of course, is going to get the 3 dervish, so we go right for those relics. It's going to be the high trade house here for Crackedy. Nothing too fancy. It's a typical landmark we see, so no Abbey of Trinity today. And yeah, the dervishes are starting to pick up those relics, so Beasty will be in a good spot for the mid to late game if he gets a sizable number of them. Villager here trying to wall up the wall. I think he gets the walls. Has he got them? He's going to try. Yeah, he's going to get the... yeah, perfectly done there by Crackedy. And of course, the dervishes can't attack, so... very nicely done, actually. I mean, if he walls in 2 of the relics, that's a kind of perfect situation, right? At least he's denied a lot of them. And this one's going to be picked up, and this one on the right side as well, most likely. Very close to Beasty, but yeah, denying 2 relics is pretty big. At least for now, at least. So it's going to be double stable. So it's going to start opening up with some of those camel lancers, which is going to be hard for the Rus to deal with, right? I guess in a way, you know, stable units are a bit of tricky. Knights, it's going to go to waddle over the villager. Will the villager get out of there? He does just about save the villager. Goes back in. That's a bit of a sneaky one there by Beasty. Nice try. Nearly managed it, but didn't quite manage it in the end. So the villager will continue repairing. So yeah, the question is, what army composition are the Rus going to go for? Maybe spearmen archers could be a nice one. He does have the barracks and he does have the archer range, so quite likely to be the case. Of course, going knights is a bit of a tricky one against the ayyubids or the ayyubids alike, considering they've got camel lancers. Or at least the ayyubids have the camel riders. Camel archers too. Now, I would like to let you guys know, though, it's probably unlikely I'm going to be making any Age of Mythology content. Some people have been asking. Even if I did, I'd probably place it in a separate channel, but I don't think I will. It's not necessarily a game that I'm super interested in, so just expect just purely Age of Empires 4 content on the channel. And I'm only going to be casting and uploading the very best cast that I do, so bear that in mind as well as you think about, you know, the future content to expect on the channel. Now, 3 relics in play for the ayyubids. Starting to look to get those sacred sites, which could become a problem for Crackedy, but looks at what he's up to here really is building up the economy and then maybe looking to go for a big push, a big timing attack. It could work quite well for him. He's starting to get his own monastery now for warrior monks. But it's probably quite like, I mean, he's not repairing this. I'm pretty surprised he's not repairing this Crackedy, just to delay the relic being taken. It's a bit of an oversight there, I think. Maybe not, actually. He's going to time it well with the spearman now. But yeah, I would have expected him to wall up. Yeah, he is now. He's going to repair it, which is the right thing to do. Relatively minimal wooden cost involved in that, and just helps deny that relic. But he's got to think about the sacred sites. He's got the units to deal with that. He's going to take the fight here, potentially. I mean, with the dervishes, if Beasty keeps them alive, he should take this fight and win it pretty convincingly. Especially when you consider the militia. They're losing HP constantly, but it's a decent trade. I mean, ultimately, you can lose the militia anyway. So Crackedy might as well fight that. It does now leave him a bit more bare-boned in terms of defending the relic, but nice usage to get the units inside the palisades, at least the ranged units, to do some damage from inside. But yeah, still a significant amount of gold coming in here for Beasty. In fact, let's take a look. 900 per minute. It's got a sizable number of villagers on gold, but obviously a lot of relic gold income, a lot of sacred site gold income. It's going to be archery ranges here for the ayyubids as well, added in that third town centre, would you believe? Something you typically see from the ayyubids. They get to the castle age, pick up relics, and then add in multiple town centres, and that's exactly what he's done. But he's not only gone for 2, he's gone for 3. So he's going to be looking to catch up on the villager count. Now that does put a bit of a timing pressure on the Rus to potentially do some damage. In fact, you know what? Is he? Yeah, it's just the second town centre here for the Rus. But interesting game in terms of you know, choices being made. I wonder whether Crackedy's going to be thinking about pushing out soon. So you can see now that the focus has switched really for Beasty to now start to wall up because he wants to play the late game with the ayyubids. Question is, who has the better late game? Now something that, well, I wonder whether, you know, this is a lot of population efficiency getting the 3 sacred sites as well. Alright, Crackedy managing to get that second relic home. Likely to deposit it pretty soon. But he's got 8 minutes. Crackedy, he's got to find his way out onto the map and deny the sacred sites. Beasty's starting to wall up, and as I say that, he's going to be denying the sacred site here. Don't think Beasty's going to get there in time, in fact. Yeah, he's going to deny that. Beasty probably wasn't thinking about sacred site as a win condition anyway. He's behind on military, of course. Now would be a perfect time for Crackedy to attack if he knows about it. He's starting to venture out on the map. 15 minutes on the clock. Starting to see a bit of a farming transition, which can make things a bit awkward in terms of tempo for the Rus, or any faction really. But the Rus typically have this, right? They start to run out of their food sources, no more deer left, and they'll start farming. Same potentially could be said for the ayyubids, especially if he runs out of the deer here, which is a real possibility because Crackedy's looking to deny that. I mean, surely he'll spot this, right? And I love what he's doing though. He's getting in between the base and the villagers so that the villagers can't really run to safety as such. Yeah, forming a line. This is going to be big. He's going to kill a lot of villagers here. Nicely done by Crackedy. Going to charge him with the spears. Crossbows as the range attack coming in. And yeah, he's going to lose the vast majority of these villagers that are carrying a lot of food on them. Nicely done there by Crackedy. Nice pick off. We're going to have to deal with the army now, so he might lose a lot here. It's probably going to be about just trying to get an effective trade. I think he probably just needs to try and snipe as many villagers as possible with the crossbows ultimately here. But it doesn't look like he's going to get too much more value because he's going to be garrisoning inside the town centres here, Beasty. Though not enough space necessarily, but he's come out to fight once again and yeah, he'll clear that up. Gets to the sacred site once again, Beasty. Activates the timer, but Spearman on hand here for Crackedy. He'll take that down. But it really comes down to the damage that Crackedy's done. Sure, Beasty's on 3 town centres, but you know, the economy's been rocking and rolling for the Rus. Granted, of course, the 3 relics and the 3 sacred sites add in an extra element to that. Plenty of stone coming in. It looks like Crackedy might be thinking about the Imperial Age, as well as a keep. It's quite impressive he's been getting there, right? So we talked about the Rus getting nerfs, but their economy is, you know, is as good as ever. Bear in mind he's getting 200 gold per minute from the High Trade House. Kind of negates a little bit of the sacred site involvement that Beasty's had an advantage of. Yeah, it's fully walling up now. But the timing is going to be a bit interesting, right? And there's still plenty of food coming on in. He's got a small farming transition. He's going to go with a high armory. No real surprises there. It's such a powerful landmark for the Rus. Give the discount on the siege engines and also, you know, contain some of those unique technologies we're about to see very shortly. I've got to say, the music is so good for the Rus. Certainly one of my most favourites. Let me know in the comment section below what's your favourite music, which civilization. I think they're all, I mean, to be honest with you, they're all very good, aren't they? I can't think of a civilization where I think, oh, you know, I don't really like that one. They all have their charm. One of the best things about Age of Empires 4, in my opinion, the music, the sound design, really solid at times. And that may change very soon because we typically do see a bit of a tempo increase in music when the aggression comes on in. Kind of expecting that soon-ish. I mean, I guess Crackedy will want to get his Imperial Age upgrades. Now the question is, what does Beasty do here when he finds his enemy in the Castle Age? Does he halt production, go to the Imperial Age? Well, when he finds his opponents in the Imperial Age, rather. Does he halt production, go to the Imperial Age himself? Or does he look to be aggressive and attack? And do some damage? You know, probably safe in the knowledge that he should have a decent army. The trouble is, doing that against the Rus, they've got the Kremlin as a defensive landmark, and the tech ups don't take hugely long for them to come on in. So, by the time the Beasty heads there, you get the feeling that the Rus should have those all-important upgrades to take a really good fight. Of course, he's lacking in military numbers. And he's actually going to move forward with his spearmen as well. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess he feels that attack is the best form of defense, and in some ways, he's expecting Beasty to attack, and so the spearmen could get some counter damage, and ultimately, at this stage of the game, it's hard to do effective damage against your enemy when you don't have all that much siege. Sure, he's got Mangonel, or I should say Maginik, really. But yeah, that's what he really needs. He needs some rams, some trebuchets potentially, but rams is going to be easier for the ayyubids. But he does have to rely on the infantry to make them, because he can't, you know, he didn't get the miniature wing, right? So he can't get the cavalry to build it for him. Does deny the sacred site with the units. Crackedy, it was a must, of course, and he does do that, so he resets the timer. Getting university for all those upgrades. Roller shutter triggers on the way. Should help deal with the Mansionik. It's a big deal, actually. Yeah, but you can see elite spearmen involved. So cavalry kind of, you know, out the way here for the ayyubids. Not that they had that many anyway. It's going to be the archers and crossbows and man-at-arms that are big problems here. But, you know, with a couple of crossbows added in, it should be okay. Getting the upgrades as well, blacksmith upgrades, as we speak. Getting iron undermesh has been pretty slow with blacksmith upgrades, actually. Crackedy obviously really prioritizing the tech ups, which he has now got. But he needs to, yeah, he actually got rid of the Mansionik there with the 2 springles. Nice play there by Crackedy. Very important he done that. Means the push stalls a little bit, and Streltsy being added into the mix. Doesn't have the best farming economy, but he's got premium units, and that will scale well if he keeps them alive. Beasty heading back home. Yeah, he's probably thinking about going to the Imperial Age himself, right? Yeah, he is indeed. Going to go with the military wing this time, so he's going to get 7 Desert Raiders immediately. And then 2 every minute of the game. It's actually a nice time to get it, because he needs military on the field quickly. Although, at this stage of the game, it's interesting, right? Because you're probably going to be able to afford to make them anyway. It's probably better than the trade wing, of course. Beasty just trying to make a way in through the southeast side. Breaks through the palisades, but really, can he push too much forward without siege? Not really. Not with the town centre being there. He has got 3 sacred sites again. Crackedy keeping his army at home, playing patiently, waiting for all these upgrades to come on in, and I suspect then he's going to push on in with some really premium units. Streltsy will deal with this little bit of a raid. We'll get maybe 1 or 2 villages. Nothing more than that, though. We have to think about gold positions as well. There's the 8,000 gold vein there on the side of the Rus. 8,000 there on the side of the ayyubids. You know what? This is actually an important section of the map here for Beasty. If he loses control of here, there's 2 gold veins there that, that are at stake. It's a big deal. Moving forward with elite spearmen. Regular crossbows, Streltsy added into the mix, and a whole lot of siege. So the push is very different here for the Rus as it was from the ayyubids. The ayyubids came with the units, not too much siege. Can't say the same. Oh, that could. Oh, this is a nice placement by Beasty, recognizing this is a key location. 2 stone veins and a gold vein. Villagers are going to get there, but the man-at-arms spot it. I love the fact that. Oh, this is nice actually. He's peeled off the man-at-arms, left 1 there. So Crackedy will be aware of this, but he's thinking, oh, it's just 1 man-at-arms. But before he knows it, he might be losing everything. Oh, this could be a massacre. No, villagers are pulled away. He deletes the keep, so he gets the stone back. There's a lot of idle time though. Beasty now gets in the Imperial. This is perfect timing here from Crackedy. The reason being, it's going to take time for the upgrades to come on in. Keep positioned in that location. That's really precarious. And a forward spot. He loses 1 Springald already. Of course, roller shutter triggers really helps here. 4 Springalds versus, well, now none. 2 mangonels as well for Crackedy. This is perfect timing. And the keep might just go up, but depending how quickly the army died, Desert Raiders are out. There's spearmen, there's mangonels taking care of that backline. Huge shots with the mangonels. Springalds now focusing on villagers, in fact, and why not? Because there's no siege to counter. Massive magic shot on those villagers. Holy moly, Beasty losing so many villagers in a blink of an eye, but he does have plenty of villagers remaining. The big problem is the military, and he's going to lose the keep, I think. This is a big problem. I don't think he ever gets to keep up, and he suffers some damage. So if he does delete it, I don't think he gets much stone back. He's going to possibly rush it down with more villagers, potentially. Either way, cavalry running in. He might lose a couple of mangonels here, Crackedy, so it's a big deal losing this. Nothing happening around the back in terms of raid, so he might lose a bit of siege. Mangonel gets another shot on the keep, and the keep will go up in the end. It's unfortunately, Crackedy didn't have too many units defending, although they are coming in now. Beastie's push on those siege engines has halted. 4 Springalds remain. And just as well, those units came out there for Crackedy. He needed them. They came when he needed them. Beasty has managed to get the keep up. But with the bombard now, this is going to be tough, right? Because there's 4 Springalds with roller shutter triggers. There's the bombard packing. And it shoots almost instantaneously after deploying. That is a new feature for Age of Empires 4 on the siege engines. And I don't think there's anything that stops this keep going down. He might charge it with the cavalry potentially. But there are Streltsy there. Oh, Streltsy need to get in position though. Bombard, about to unpack, does back away. He's going to get a couple of cavalry for free, right? He retreats, but yeah, he's going to lose a couple. He's getting the keep in the north on the stone mine, so he's going to get even more stone. Might go for a forward keep drop here, potentially. Either way, Beasty will lose that keep in a really strong position. And guess what? Crackedy getting the gold in the south. He's got gold income secured. He's got a lot of income across the board, really. Where are these villagers off to? He's backing away from the stone mine. Either way, the keep is down, and looks like Crackedy going to push on forward with his army. This could be pivotal. Yeah, this is not looking good. I think, the issue is the Beastie. I think he just had to have a hard farming transition as well. Not the greatest time for it. And Crackedy just probably could flood in units. A couple of hand cannons coming in. A couple of horsemen trying to get around the back line. Might get the bombard in the end. No, I don't think he does. Body block comes on in. Spearman getting so much value. Those horsemen are all but gone. They are elite horsemen, but it's just no match to the Streltsy, no match for the spearmen, and the Rus, despite their nerfs, they're doing so much damage. They're managing to out-eco the ayyubids, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Despite having 3 other relics, Beasty taps out. It was a cracking game of Age of Empires 4. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, more importantly, hit that notification bell for more Age of Empires 4 content. Take care, and see you next time.